Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Skillet coming to you from X4 Foundation's Interworlds mod, the Disgruntled CSA citizen, operative, trader, however you want to, freedom seeker. How about that? The Disgruntled CSA Freedom Seeker. It's a working title, okay? We'll figure that part out. But I wanted to give you guys an update because we have done a good amount of work. And let's actually pause this real quick. Because you might say, well, how much work have you done? How much time's been in the universe? Well, time in universe is just shy of 2 hours. And if you can tell, the Providence, the Requisite, the Overseer, and some others, they're not openly hostile to me. In fact, that they are blue. You may have noticed we're at -9 rep. And you might ask me, Skillet, how did you make up that difference in such a short time? Well, we're making enemies at the same time. Our our brethren over at the CSA no longer really like us. And that's how the rep works, right? So from like, let's go from bottom on up, right? So from -30 to -25, it's basically war. They want to kill you. They're going to openly fire at you. From -25 to about -21 is they will shoot you on sight. Not open war. They're not going after your assets, your stations, and things like that. They are just, if you come near, we'll shoot on sight. At -20, this is an important one. At -20, you lose that shoot on sight. They will let you be. And if you remember, we started at -25. So how we did this is for the ICG, we went to station to station. We did pretty much flyby what I did in the first episode. Flyby stations, look for criminal traffic, kill the criminal traffic, get that +1 to get to the -20. Now, I'm not entirely sure about this next part. So if you know, leave it in a comment. But from we'll say 15 is when you can start to get missions. And we got a mission to patrol Nimbin. Now, if you already can tell, this is where our CSA brethren started to look down on us even further, really cementing our loathing for the CSA and CSA leadership. We're just trying to make a buck. We're trying to do things on our own now. We're no longer a part of the establishment, the corporate sector. We're us, a free entity. And we also want to try to befriend the ICG because our inner working knowledge can help them. It could. You never know. I mean, we've helped them so far. We've helped take out ships, not vultures, but Arquins. We've helped the B-Wings. We just I've actually stayed away from the Star Chasers in that patrol mission. So the mercenaries I've tried to stay away from. I've consistently went for CSA, criminal traffic, in any other ne'er-do-gooder in sector. And that got us to about a -11, 12. We did a good jump in positivity with that patrol mission. So then, what we did is we found the defense station. We fought CSA that were in the area. Because we have to be, I believe it's 65, a distance of 65 away from a station. And you will be able to get that, oh, well, thank you for helping us. And then here's some money, and then here is some rep, which got us down to -10. At -9, we can dock on their stations. So not only was I taking out ships, I was gathering loose expenditures. So just the things that get ejected. The basic seminars, the scrap metal, all of that. I've been collecting that. And once we hit -9, we got advanced satellites and we sold a bunch of our inventory. This is how I do the inventory. If I can find where it is. There it is. So I always have like a number in mind, like 25, 50, to always have somewhat of a surplus in case we need anything. But I'll sell down to that point. So we actually had over 1 million, but changes to get the satellites. It took us down a bit because it was 50,000 for each satellite, so 100,000, give or take some change there. And then we got the satellites and we put them up. But we were actually over 1 million, which is perfect because that's going to put us in the next stage of our pirating. And that's going to be for mining ships and trading ships. Now, we're going to try to focus on the trade ship for the beginning. And that's just because mining ships, M-class mining ships, depending on where they go and how much other mining is in sector. You don't have the little pyramid boys in the Interworlds mod. You have, do we actually have we discovered them yet? The Ujong Vong, if I pronounce that right, which take place of the pyramid boys. And they do the same thing. They warp in, they attack mining ships, any ship of opportunity, really. Mining ships are just the easiest ones to go after, and that can cripple our money, our beginning starter money, our base income. That can cripple just us as a player, because we have to crew that ship. We have to possibly add equipment to that ship, and we have to send it out. Now, in this early game, 2 hours in, would it be feasible for that to happen? Probably not, because their mechanic works very similar to the Pyramid Boys, the kayak, where it takes the volume. I think I have it right. The volume of mining to really affect how they enter into the sector. Now, what we have found is in the maw, which I didn't actually realize this was a sector in the last playthrough, I don't think. In the maw, there is our unknown station. We are super close to ICG territory. Actually, adjacent. ICG adjacent. Which is cool because I don't know what's actually in the maw in terms of minerals. Let's actually look at the encyclopedia. It has methane and helium. Perfect. Kessel has spice. like Dune, or silicon and ice, 100% sunlight. I don't understand how that has 100% sunlight. Nope, that's not what I wanted, self. It's the sunlight here. 100%. Okay, so we can start building refineries at one point. Now, we don't have the blueprints for refineries. So once we start getting traders, what we are going to do is we are going to ship them down south. We don't have the sectors discovered yet, but we're going to ship them down south to the ICG HQ, the shipyard, and then we're going to put them in the wharf. We are going to try to get over here to Mongaza and Geonosis, and we are going to start having them trade in ICG territory. That, for one, will gain the rep. That will gain the money. And then once we have enough and we fought the CSA enough, we can then... We'll have to do a balancing act with the CSA. We can then start building stations. And the first stations that we're going to build are going to be solar power plants. And then we're going to expand on some of those solar power plants, not all of the solar power plants, but some of the solar power plants. So we can extend our base. So from the solar power plants, we will do, we'll go into refineries. And then we can do anywhere that just adds solar power plants and the refined good. And we can try to do it that way. But before we get into that, one of our main goals is going to be to get the maw, or the station, I'm sorry, the station inside the maw, because we need that research. So some of the traders will have to go for our research station, which we can place energy producer or energy cell production on the station to then, garner more money, and then to do research and pay for that research, which then will allow us to pirate the blueprints that we want or need and go from there. Now, this is kind of a string of goals that we will accomplish in hopefully a short time. It's really going to be dependent on how fast we can start getting traders out there and start doing the trading with the ICG. Also, with that being said, the bigger the fleet or faction that we have, the more of a presence, enemy presence around the research station. So catch-22. We'll have to fight that battle more than likely. But I wanted to give you guys an update. Episode 2 on bringing down the rep, how you can do it, missions, criminal traffic. Now, going back into the criminal traffic part, once you start getting a positive rep from 0 plus whatever, it's incremental that the criminal traffic gains you rep. So at one point, it's not just going to be one criminal traffic. It might take 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It does get larger for the more positive rep that you do, because the more good that you do taking out criminals, the less it's you're just doing a good deed. It's okay, you're doing something. You get it? It's not like they have their eye on you and they're like, oh, he's just not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing this for a reason and not to be a cop or whatnot. But that's where we are right now. And that's going to be the upcoming goals is traders, moving from traders. Actually, let's just create a plot real quick. And let's see. Okay, so we can do solar power plants. Now, it's the dumbest thing that we could do. But just because it could be dumb doesn't mean that it's not worth it, right? Actually, let's pull that out. We want another one. And we got to do that. Look at that. We now have a solar power plant. We probably need to get rid of that and then add that to it. And then just because giggles. Okay. Yeah, it's not going to give us another spot. So we could technically do... We're not going to be able to find a builder, I don't think. Yeah, no builder. So... let's see, how much money would that cost us? 4 million. So we have to at least get about 5 million before we can do a solar power plant. We could do that. That shouldn't be a problem. We're gonna have to scavenge and pirate traders. We might have to get a little loose with our traders that we want, and we can go from there. We could do that. But I hope you guys enjoy. I will see you guys again. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you watch. Skillet signing out.